What's up, YouTube? Today we're going to be looking at some hidden buffs and secret winners of the new Season 24 move update. To start off, we're going to be taking a look at Togekiss, and Togekiss gets access to the reworked Charm. It does have access to Peck as well. However, with the Charm, Psyshock, Aura Sphere moveset, which appears to be the best moveset for this Pokemon, assuming Charm becomes a Dragon Tail clone, this thing looks like a beast, going 23 and 25 against the Great League meta, having a battle average rating of 492, making it an incredibly strong Pokemon. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Doxbun or Dashbun, however you pronounce it. Either way, also a Charm user, but it does have access to the buffed Body Slam as well, even though that numbers are not the correct numbers. But this looks very, very strong, going 27 and 20, so maybe the superior Charmer with a 543 record against the Open Great League. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Gastrodon, also with access to the buffed Body Slam, and Gastrodon unfortunately has only gotten stronger. We now have a 33 and 13 record for this Pokemon with an average battle rating of 554. That is absolutely absurd. This thing is going to be an absolute menace. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Hippopotas. Now, this is actually the pre-evolution of Hippowdon, but it looks like Hippopotas is actually going to be better than Hippowdon because it has access to the buffed Body Slam as well as Rock Tomb, which means that this Pokemon has a battle rating of 485 with a record of 22 and 26 against the Great League, making it an incredibly strong contender for top meta. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at also got access to the buffed Body Slam. It already had Metal Sound and Rock Tomb as well, which means this Pokemon got a strict buff. Lairon now going 23 and 25 against the Open Great League with a battle rating of 460. I promise there are more exciting Pokemon than the ones I've shown so far, and they're a little bit more towards the end, but we've got some really cool ones coming up. The next one is Zweilous. Now, I'm sure Yonkis' brother is very excited about this because this Pokemon got access to the buffed Dragon Breath, which is now more like a Fury Cutter or Psywave clone, which means it actually gets to both Body Slam and Dark Pulse quicker. Of course, Body Slam also getting buffed, which means this is the new Guzzlord, ladies and gentlemen. We have a 527 record with a 31 and 17, or sorry, 527 battle rating and a 31 and 17 record against the Open Great League, making it a very, very strong Pokemon. Next up is Castform. Now, this has access to the buffed Weather Ball. Weather Ball got a 5 damage boost, and this is already a decently bulky Pokemon. It's only got one weakness, which is fighting. It's got Hex for good energy generation and Energy Ball for coverage. So this, we're taking a look at one of the best new save swaps in the Open Great League, a 28 and 20 record with a 510 average battle rating. This thing looks like an absolute beast. Potentially the new Lickitung, but I might eat my words with that one because Lickitung also got access to the buffed Body Slam, so we'll have to see. That said, the next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is both of the Ninetales. So first up, Weather Ball Ice, of course, got the buff, so Alolan Ninetales looks a lot better, 27 and 21 against the Open Great League with an average battle rating of 505. We can also quickly take a look at the regular Ninetales with Ember, Weather Ball, and Overheat. One thing I will say about this is assuming Ember becomes a Mudshot clone. If it becomes a Poison Sting, Fairy Wind, Thundershock clone, it's going to be absolutely insane because this looks okay right now, but it's going to be even better. We can also take a look at Ninetales, like Alolan Ninetales, with Charm. And I believe with Charm, it's also really, really good. Yeah, 32 and 15. I think this is the best record we've seen yet. 562 battle rating, which is absolutely insane. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Roserade with the buffed Weather Ball. And this thing is going to be one of the best sweepers in your endgame. give this thing actually just even shields. If you're not getting fast move down, this thing is going to go to work, because 35 and 13 record, kind of a sim hero, but absolutely insane for this Pokemon. Next is Abomasnow with the buffed Weather Ball. Abomasnow looks very, very good. 24 and 24, even record, slightly above average battle rating of 511. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Aurorus. Aurorus, of course, always struggles because of its typing, but the Weather Ball getting buffed here is pretty nice for it. 25 and 23, 505 rating, very similar to Abomasnow, which we just looked at. Next is Clefable. Now, Clefable, I'm going back to Charm on this one, and we're actually running Swift and Meter Mash. It's the best move set for it with Charm. And Clefable, 554 average rating with a 31 and 17 record. Looks absolutely insane. So if they do end up making Charm a Dragon Tail clone, this thing is going to be absolutely broken. Up next, we have Delcatty. Now, you might not be familiar with Delcatty. It's a mono normal type Pokemon. It does have access to Charm, which is good against its single weakness in fighting, which makes this Pokemon very, very strong. And a 493 battle average rating with a 23 and 25 record is definitely nothing to scoff at. The next Charmer we've already looked at, that is Alolan Ninetales. Primarina now, a water fairy with Charm, maybe edging out Azumarill here, because 23 and 24 record with a 497 average battle rating is very, very solid. Next up, we've got Sylveon with Charm. It has Psyshock for coverage against the poisons, which are very nice for it, and it's got some okay bulk with a 24 and 24 record and an average rating of 518. The next Pokemon we're going to take a look at is Wigglytuff, and I'm very, very sorry about this one. And this is maybe one of the only reasons I think Charm will not become a Dragon Tail clone, potentially one less energy. If it's 8 energy instead of 9, I think that'll be more balanced, because otherwise we're looking at a Wigglytuff with a 31 and 16 record in the ones and a 603 average battle rating, which is absolutely broken. So I'm hoping that Charm is not as good as we're anticipating. The next one I want to take a look at is Girafarig. So now we're going to take a look at the Confusion buff and all the Pokemon that have Confusion that are going to benefit from this. Shadow Girafarig definitely up there with Confusion and Psychic Fangs. Now just generating energy a little bit quicker, which is really nice. It improves the pacing of Psychic Fangs, going 3-2, which is really nice for it. And Trailblaze for coverage. This thing looks incredibly strong. We've got a 26 and 22 record with an average battle rating of 506. An incredibly strong Pokemon, and I think, yeah, it's going to be very, very good. It is glassy, but pretty strong. The next Confusion user we're going to take a look at is Hypno. Hypno has a plethora of moves that it can run. The best one that I could find was Confusion, Shadow Ball, and Ice Punch. It's a very bulky Pokemon, which definitely helps it, but 23 and 25 is decent, and 455 is only decent. So it looks like a decent Pokemon, but not broken, which is good to see. Next up, we have Oranguru. Now, Oranguru, also a Confusion user, Brutal Swing, straight 3-2, which is really, really nice for it. Pretty bulky as well. Now has an average rating of 498 and a 24 and 24 record against the Open Great League. Next up, we have Heliolisk getting a double buff this season. Breaking Swipe, I believe it was a typo. I believe they meant 100% chance to lower the opponent's attack, not defense. And Parabolic Charge is 100% chance to boost your defense. Volt Switch also got a buff this season, just improving the damage while not touching the energy, which means this thing got a triple buff, which is absolutely insane. And you're going to see what that means for this Pokemon right here. 535 average rating with a 29 and 19 record. One thing about this Pokemon that I think makes it really unique is that it's a very glassy Pokemon, 1626 overall stat product. However, Breaking Swipe guaranteed lowering the opponent's attack means it can take more hits, and Parabolic Charge guaranteed boosting your defense, also making you like figuratively bulkier. So I think that's a very cool way to attack this Pokemon. Next up, we got a little bit of a spoiler. We've got Regidrago with the buffed Dragon Breath and the rework Breaking Swipe. This Pokemon is going to be top meta next season with a 31-17 record and a 546 average rating. Very, very strong. Neutrally would struggle, of course, against the Fairies and the Steels. Next up, we have Steelix, also another spoiler, which has the reworked Breaking Swipe as well. 506 average rating with a 26-21 record against the Open Great League. Up next, we've got Turtonator. Now, Turtonator did get access to Dragon Claw, except Dragon Claw now does more damage and costs more energy. So we're actually taking a look at it with Brutal Swing and Overheat, and with Brutal Swing and Overheat having a 523 average rating with a 27-21 record. Giving it a bait move and a nuke is absolutely incredible for this Pokemon, and the pacing on Brutal Swing is absolutely nuts. 2, 2, 2, 1. Yes, that is 10 turns, 10 turns, 10 turns, 5 turns. That is absolutely insane. So, going to be a very strong Pokemon, also pretty bulky and really nice typing. Next up is Altaria. Everyone's been very excited about this Pokemon. I talked about it in my previous Season 24 move update video, and that's because this Pokemon is going to be very good. 25-23 record with a 486 average rating. Also has access to Dragon Pulse and Flamethrower this season. Both are pretty much just side grades for it, so something to consider. It also has Peck. If there's ever a meta for some reason where Altaria is not allowed, but Altaria is allowed, but all the other dragons are not. So, yeah, interesting Pokemon to take a look at. Next one is Arctibax. Now, Arctibax is going to be an incredibly strong Pokemon now that Dragon Claw does more damage and Dragon Breath gets to those charge moves even faster. We're looking at a 30-18 record against the Open Great League with a 537 average rating, an incredibly strong Pokemon. Next up is Charizard. Now this is probably one of the most exciting buffs we've got. Charizard now has Dragon Breath, which is a legacy move, unfortunately, as well as Blast Burn. So it's still double legacy. You have to change the legacy move on this Pokemon every season, it seems like. That said, Dragon Breath with the improved pacing, assuming Ember doesn't become a Poison Sting clone, and even if it does, I think Dragon Breath might be slightly better, giving you that unresisted coverage. And then you have Blast Burn and Air Cutter. Air Cutter is a new move on this Pokemon and looks very, very strong. And for a 470 average rating with a 20-28 record, not bad, but also not fantastic either. Next up, we have Dragonite. Now, Dragonite does have access to Thunder Punch, so buffed Dragon Breath with the reworked Dragon Claw means it actually wants to run Thunder Punch and Superpower for coverage, meaning it gets a 519 average rating and a 26-22 record against the Open Great League. Next up, we have Drampa with the buffed Dragon Breath. Not much else to say there. We've got 511 average rating with a 24-24 record and very unique typing of Normal and Dragon. Next up, we've got Giratina altered with Dragon Breath instead of Shadow Claw, also running Ancient Power for coverage as opposed to Shadow Sneak. And this Pokemon is very bulky, so you're going to see a 509 average rating with a 27-20 record against the Open Great League. An incredibly strong Pokemon here. Next up, we have Goodra, and Goodra actually drops Thunder Punch this season for Power Whip, now with the buffed Dragon Breath, allowing it to get to the Power Whip a little bit quicker with that pacing. Very, very fast pacing to Aqua Tail to straight 9, meaning this Pokemon looks like an incredibly safe swap, going 521 average rating and 24-24 against the Open Great League. Next up is Shadow Gyarados. I know a lot of people are hyped about this one. Having the buffed Dragon Breath means it's pacing to Aqua Tail, straight 9 pretty much, and then Crunch as well, 12 turns, which is incredibly fast for this Pokemon. And good for it because it's very glassy. It needs to get these charge moves quick, and 24-24 are going to be good against the Dragons. And honestly, just a very strong average rating, so very strong neutrally. Also going to be good against the Mud Slappers that have been prevalent in seasons past, so very excited about that one. Next, a little bit of a spoiler there, we've got the Dragon Breath and Swift variant of Kingdra. This is the best moveset that you can run on this Pokemon this season. Dragon Breath obviously getting the buff, and now the new access to Swift means it goes 524 average rating with a 26 and 22 record against the Open Great League, making this an incredibly strong Pokemon. Up next, we have Kommo-o. Now, Kommo-o, it does have access to Dragon Tail. We don't know what Dragon Tail is going to be yet, so I opted for Metal Sound because I thought that would be more consistent. But it also got access to Upper Hand this season, which means whether it's running Metal Sound or Dragon Tail, it does not matter. Clinging Scales and Upper Hand is some of the best 2 charge moves we've ever seen on a Pokemon ever, and this typing is actually really, really good. So 495 average rating, but a 27 and 21 record. This is definitely a Pokemon to hold on to. It's going to be incredibly strong. And so is Hakamo-o if Dragon Tail is good, because it does have access to Rock Tomb this season. Next up is Hydreigon with access to the new Dragon Pulse as well as the new Dragon Breath, making this a side grade, honestly slightly worse than its pre-evolution Zweilous, but not terrible. We've got 25 and 23, definitely better than Flash Cannon that it was running in seasons past. Wasn't really relevant now, could have potential relevance. Next up, we're going to take a look at Lapras. Now, you might be wondering, why are you taking a look at Lapras? It didn't get any new moves. Yes, it did. It has access to Dragon Pulse. This is an Elite TM charge move, but Dragon Pulse gives it access to a charge moves that can hit dragons for super effective damage. Yes, you already have Ice Beam that can hit dragons for super effective damage, but Dragon Pulse is also neutral into opposing water types, which I think makes this an incredibly attractive moveset on this Pokemon. Yes, you might need 3 Lapras, one with Skull Bash, one with Ice Beam, one with Dragon Pulse. Unfortunately, that's just going to be the way it is because Lapras looks incredibly strong, 511 average rating. Look at this distribution. I mean, this is going to be one of the best safe swaps you could possibly run. 29 and 19 record. Other than Wigglytuff, this is one of the best records we've seen yet. Definitely a Pokemon to hold on to. Next up, we've got Dodrio. Now, Dodrio did get access to Trailblaze this season, but is actually not opting for it. It does, of course, have the newly buffed Peck, which we assume to be a Dragon Claw or Acid clone. And with the buffed Drill Peck and Brave Bird for closing power, this Pokemon is actually not a joke. It's one of the glassiest Pokemon ever, 1500 stat product, but 28 and 20 record with a 537 average makes this look like a strong meta contender. Unfortunately, it's very easily wallable, so if we do see things like the Stunfisk, like the Morpeko, you could always run Trailblaze on this Pokemon, but it is slightly worse. That said, this Pokemon looks incredibly strong. Next up is Empoleon. Everyone is incredibly excited about this Pokemon as well because it got access to the buffed Metal Sound from a previous season. Metal Sound generates energy very quickly, and with the buffed Drill Peck, you're getting to these charge moves in straight 5, which means this Pokemon, with its typing of water and steel, is going to be probably the best water starter this season with a 25 and 23 record and a 506 average battle rating. This thing is going to be absolutely insane. Next up, we have Fearow. Fearow also got access to Peck and Drill Peck, which means this Pokemon with Drill Run coverage is going to be very, very strong. It is straight 5 to these very strong charge moves, so a 511 average battle rating and a 24 and 24 record against the Open Great League means this Pokemon is going to be incredibly strong. Next up is Shadow Murkrow. Now, this is absolutely insane, and I absolutely love that this is viable. This is an incredibly glassy Pokemon. It's the first stage of the Honchkrow line, which means it's very interesting, but yes, it does get up to 1500 stat product, and we're running the rank 1 for this sim. And with the rank 1 Shadow with Peck, Drill Peck, and Foul Play, this thing is absolutely insane. A 27 and 21 record with an average battle rating of 553. This thing is going to be an absolute beast. Next up is Xatu. We're also taking a look at the Shadow Xatu with the buffed Peck as well as the introduction of Psyshock to its moveset. And this Pokemon looks okay, going 20 and 27 against the Open Great League with the battle average rating of 468, which means it's not irrelevant against the meta. Next up is Toucanon, Shadow Toucanon at that, with both Peck, Drill Peck, and Rock Blast for coverage. This thing is also incredibly glassy, so we're leaning in to its shadow damage, and with Peck and Drill Peck, this thing looks very, very strong. 559 average battle rating with a 24 and 24 record. Up next, we've got its pre-evolution Trumbeak. Now, Shadow Trumbeak is a level 50 Pokemon, I believe. That said, with Peck and Drill Peck, the exact same moveset as its evolution, going 28 and 20 with a 566 average battle rating. Makes it also a very strong meta contender. Up next, we've got Chatot, and Chatot got access to the buffed Peck, the reworked Sky Attack, and it has access to Nightshade for nice coverage. Very glassy Pokemon, of course, only barely getting up to that 1500 for CP cap for the Great League, going 452 battle average rating and a 21-27 record. Not terrible, also not fantastic. Up next, one of the ones I'm most excited for is Dartrix. Dartrix, of course, the middle evolution, the middle stage evolution, got a double buff this season with access to both Peck and Leafage, both becoming Shadow Claw clones, most likely. Has access to Brave Bird for closing power, and then the reworked Seed Bomb, which makes it a better bait move because it is less energy, meaning Dartrix with its bulk going 27 and 21 against the Open Great League with an average battle rating of 535. Very, very strong Pokemon here. It does seem Peck slightly outperforms Leafage, but we'll have to see once the meta evolves. Next up is Fletchinder. This is the pre-evolution of Talonflame. Once again, the middle stage evolution. Now has access to Peck. It also has access to Ember. So if Ember becomes a Poison Sting, Fairy Wind, Thundershock clone, Ember would also be viable for this Pokemon. But even with Peck, Fly, and Flame Charge, this Pokemon actually looks really strong. 26 and 22 record against the Open Great League with a 492 battle average rating. Next up is Rufflet. Now this was in the thumbnail, and for good reason. This thing has access to Peck, Rock Tomb, and Fly, and I don't think you guys are ready for this, but a 545 average battle rating with a 31 and 17 record against the Open Great League. This is undoubtedly one of the coolest buffs we've seen to a Pokemon yet. Just totally unexpected. Pre-evolution of Braviary, which sees absolutely no play, but Rufflet looks like it has strong meta contention. And then next up, we've got to talk about it. It's Seaking. And now Seaking was a triple legacy Pokemon in seasons past, running Poison Jab, but this season it's running Peck, and Peck as a Shadow Claw clone, allowing to get to these drill runs and icy wins in straight 6 virtually. This thing looks absolutely insane. The coverage on it is amazing. It's obviously none of these charge moves or fast moves are stab, but the coverage alone and just the variability of what it covers and its defensive typing make this thing one of the strongest Pokemon we've ever seen, and probably the best safe swap, I would imagine, to date. Of course, if there are electrics everywhere because of the Volt Switch buff, we'll have to see, but Seaking looks ridiculous. 31 and 17 record with a 514 average rating. You give this thing an energy lead and it is a game over, let me tell you what. Next up, we have Talonflame. Talonflame also has access to Peck, so we're looking at it with Peck, Fly, and Flame Charge, and very similar to its pre-evolution, 27 and 21 record with a 497 average battle rating. Up next, we have Corviknight, and the reason we're taking a look at Corviknight is actually not because of Sky Attack. It's because it's going to get its Community Day move of Air Cutter. And with Sand Attack, Air Cutter, and Payback, this thing, you guessed it, is going to be very strong. Its typing alone makes it very, very strong, but 31 and 17 record with an average battle rating of 534. This thing definitely has play. We'll have to see if it actually plays as good as it sims. We've seen in previous seasons that that's never been the case, but we'll have to see with Air Cutter. I think it will improve, especially because it has the option to boost your attack, and boosted sand attacks might actually do damage, which would be nice. Next up is Florges. Now Florges will get its community day move of Chilling Water. We're assuming this is going to be an Icy Wind clone, and the coverage that this allows for it against like steel and fire, which would normally wall it. Poison, which if you're running Trailblaze, you know, all of it's resisted. So now it has neutral or super effective coverage into all of its weaknesses, meaning it has an average battle rating of 522 and a record of 25 and 23 against the Open Great League. Looks like a very safe Pokemon in general. Next up, we have Aegislash. Now, this thing never sims as good as it actually performs, and that's because it only sims it in the shield form as opposed to having the attack stat of the blade form. That said, even simming it with just the shield form alone, Psycho Cut, Shadow Ball, and Gyro Ball with the buffed Gyro Ball this season, looking okay. I mean, obviously that average battle rating is pretty bad, but a 20 and 28 record, and it's probably going to be even better than it sims here just because it will do damage with its blade form when it changes forms. Next up is not Alolan Sandslash. This is Alolan Sandshrew, and this is a level 51 Hundo Pokemon, so a little bit unattainable, but if you have this Pokemon, it might be worth looking at because it also has access to the buff Gyro Ball. It's one of the few Pokemon that does want to run it, as opposed to like Metang, which already has it, so we're not looking at it today. But Powder Snow, Night Slash, and Gyro Ball make it really, really interesting. And if there's ever a meta where Sand Slash is not allowed, but Sandshrew is, I think this Pokemon looks very, very strong. Decent stat product, going 465 average battle rating and a 15 and 33 record. Not great, but I think it will actually perform better than this. I believe you could probably run the Shadow as well, and we can take a look at it with Gyro Ball. And you know what? Let's give it level 51 treatment. So actually even better with the Shadow as well. Next up is Abomasnow. Now Abomasnow we already looked at, but what we didn't look at it with is Leafage. Now Leafage, of course, becoming a Shadow Claw clone means that with the Icy Wind Energy Ball moveset, it has a now battle average rating of 525 and a record of 27 and 21 against the Open Great League, which means it now has two viable fast moves, kind of similar to Dartrix. Peck or Leafage will work. Same with Abomasnow. You've got either Leafage or Powder Snow. Next up is Decidueye. Now, Decidueye previously ran Astonish, now has access to a Shadow Claw clone in Leafage, and with Frenzy Plant and Spirit Shackle, this looks like it's going to be a very strong Pokemon. Average battle rating of 496 and a record of 24 and 24 against the Open Great League. Up next is Meowscarada. Now this is an insanely glassy Pokemon, but with access to Leafage, Night Slash, and Frenzy Plant, a completely stab moveset, and really good bait move with fantastic pacing. This thing looks like it could be really, really strong, and the Sims don't lie. We've got 513 average battle rating with a record of 24 and 24 against the Open Great League. Up next is Toedscruel. I'll kind of gloss over this one pretty quickly. Toedscruel just got the reworked Seed Bomb, and it does improve its pacing, which means it now goes 22 and 26 against the Open Great League with an average battle rating of 498. We also have Dunsparce with the buffed Rock Slide, now with an average battle rating of 522 and a record of 27 and 20 against the Open Great League. Next up is Marowak. This Pokemon has already been everywhere, but this is actually not as good as you'd expect. Mudslap, Bone Club, Rock Slide. Yes, the non-Shadow actually seems to be simming better, but it's still not fantastic. 22 and 25 records, okay. Average battle rating is 506, also pretty decent. But honestly, this thing is going to take a huge hit with all the flyers and grass Pokemon floating around. Next up, we've got Melmetal with Rock Slide and Double Iron Bash. This Pokemon looks pretty solid. 25 and 23 record against the Open Great League with an average battle rating of 502. Getting close to the end now, we've got Ampharos with the buffed Volt Switch. Now doing more damage, and I think the energy is the same, and they just boosted its damage. But 524 average rating and a 25 and 23 record against the Open Great League looks pretty solid. We've got Chargebug with Volt Switch as well. We're actually taking a look at the Shadow because the Shadow does actually sim better. But with the Shadow, we've got a 25 and 22 record with a 528 average rating. Up next, we have Fortress, and no, Fortress is no longer running Bug Bite. Instead, we're going to be looking at Volt Switch Fortress, and Volt Switch Fortress with Sand Tomb and Rock Tomb looks crazy. 30 and 18 average rating with a 518 average battle rating and a 30-18 record. Sorry. Next up, we've got Magnezone with the Volt Switch buff. Magnezone going 29 and 19. The non-shadow performing slightly better with a 535 average rating. Looks like a very strong pick as well. And you know that electric steel typing could come in clutch in a Dragon Fairy meta. Up next, we have Pachirisu. Pachirisu got access to the buffed Volt Switch. It also got coverage. And the coverage, unfortunately, actually seems to perform worse. It actually doesn't want to run Hyper Fang. It looks like it actually sims better with Thunder Punch and Thunderbolt with a record of 515. This is a 515 battle average rating and a 30-18 record. Not only that, this Pokemon is incredibly bulky. It doesn't quite get to the 1500 CP cap, but because it has the bulk to make up for it, it's okay. You do need a Hundo or a level 51 version of this Pokemon, however. Up next is Araquanid. Araquanid is one of the only Pokemon that really was meta and benefited from the Water Pulse buff. Water Pulse now allows this Pokemon to be one of the safest Pokemon with that nice and close distribution, 25 and 23 record, and a 521 average battle rating. Up next, we've got Crustle. Now, Crustle got access to Rock Wrecker this season, which is an incredibly strong move. And Rock Wrecker with Fury Cutter pacing is amazing, as well as X-Scissor, meaning this Pokemon now goes 21 and 27 against the Open Great League and has a 488 average. Final three, we've got the newly introduced Mud Slap onto Nidoqueen. This Pokemon gets a slight bump, going 20 and 28 against the Open Great League, as well as a 477 average battle rating. Up next, we've got Torterra. Now, Torterra also got access to Mud Slap this season. Unfortunately, it's just a season too late. I think Toedscool is just going to be a better Torterra. I think a lot of people are having the thought that it's going to be the other way around, that Torterra is going to be a better Toedscool, and I could eat my words on this one, but I don't know. It's just the pacing on Torterra isn't great, and it doesn't have another good move. It does have Stone Edge for coverage, but the pacing would be really, really bad with Frenzy Plant, and Stone Edge. It's still decent, 475 average rating, 23-25 record, but up next, and the final Pokemon that we're taking a look at is Venusaur. Venusaur getting access to Sludge this season, which means it finally has a bait move, and the non-Shadow Venusaur simming slightly better, 520 average rating with a 27 and 21 record. So yeah, there are loads of Pokemon to be excited about. Some of the ones that I'm most excited about are Rufflet and Seeking, which I kind of talked about, but there are plenty of others, more meta options rather than off meta, but you already know what I'm going to be running on this channel. So thank you all so much for watching, and until next time, peace.